Hello everyone, Johnny75 with another video for you. Today we're going to do something a little different. I submitted a 15 card submittal to PSA back in, I want to say it was the end of January, beginning of February. Just got it back now. And I was going to do a blind reveal, but the video got all honked up, so we're gonna do. I've already seen the grades, but we're gonna go through them and hopefully you'll enjoy the video. And I just wanted to give a shout out to one of the YouTubers that I like to watch a lot when it comes to submitting and grading cards. His name is Alico3, and I highly recommend his videos. He's very knowledgeable. He does these very long videos sometimes on submittals of 500 cards, some shorter, sometimes they're only 15, 20 cards, but if you're looking to learn a lot from how to submit cards, he submits to PSA and SGC mostly. He'll even take a card that's already slabbed and tell you, what he's thinking and how he might resubmit it to a different company and whatnot. So you can really learn a lot about grading from him, and I highly recommend his YouTube channel. I'll link it below if you want to check him out. I highly recommend him. All right, let's get to it. All right, let's get to the rejects. So the first one here is a 78 Eddie Murray. They said the stock was altered. Now, just a little caveat about these cards. Most of these cards I picked up, especially the older ones here, most of these cards I picked up at the East Coast National about 30 years ago. We're talking about shows that took place in late 80s, early 90s. And, just walking the floor and picking up cards. I don't remember what I necessarily paid for this particular card, but, couldn't tell you why it was altered. I mean, this looked pretty good to me, and it's kind of hoping for a 7 out of this, but PSA said it was altered. Okay, there's a couple other cards here. Got a Dave Parker rookie card. It's another one I picked up at a national. I've had it in my collection for 30 years or more, and thought I'd finally get them submitted and encased. Back then, grading was kind of more of a luxury than it was like a necessity, which it kind of is now. And this is the Keith Hernandez rookie card, which is also labeled as altered. All right, so let's get to the rest of the slabs. All right, first one up is a card that I've had for a while. I have the complete set. I decided to break it out and submit this Topps Tiffany Don Mattingly. This one here has been made famous lately by the Project 2020. It's one of their featured cards. So just give you an idea what I thought this card might go for. I looked at this. I thought it would go for an 8, and I got a 7 on it. So I did notice, a little bit down below here, just a little bit of chipping. I didn't think it was going to drop it too low, but so that was, one of the reasons I did this is that I'm trying to get better at predicting grades and just grading cards. So this became a 7 out of what I thought might have been an 8, so slightly off on that one. Next one is in 1984 Don Mattingly. I got a mint 9, which I was very happy with. I had this card going for an 8, so a 9 was better than I had anticipated. As you can see, it's pretty well centered. The back looks really nice. You know, really nothing wrong with the back. So I was happy. I was happy with that grade. And current value has this at about $200. So that was nice. The 84 here. Couldn't find any comps at near mint 7. I estimated approximately $70 as a 7. Here's another one that was featured in Project 2020. I've had this one for a while. I always liked Rickey Henderson. Always loved this card. Another one I've had in my collection. You can see that it is it's pretty bad centering left to right. And I debated on whether I was going to grade it, but I kind of need to learn how these cards are going to grade when they're in that condition. You can see that the corners are in pretty good condition, and the back, you know, has no flaws really. So I predicted a 7, and it came out a 7. So this is the first card that I was able to predict right on the money. By the way, a 7 goes for about $65. PSA 7. All right, so now we. By the way, these cards are going to get progressively older, and then I have a couple of modern cards at the very end. All right, so I have a 79 Topps Ozzie Smith, which I thought would grade as a 7, and it came back as a 7. So this is a second card I hit right on the money as far as predicting the grade. This one is pretty well centered. One of the issues with this card is it's terrible centering. And left to right, this is one of the better ones. And top to bottom is obviously a little off. You know, the back of the card looks fine. So I was pretty happy with this. This as a 7 goes for about $75 currently. All right, so now we get to the puzzling submission. This is a 75 Thurman Munson, graded very good 3. And for the life of me, I cannot understand that. I had this down as a possible 7, and I was kind of hoping that some of the experts out there can tell me what I missed. I don't see any major errors. His centering is perfect, left to right. Top to bottom, it's a little low, so a little more top than on the bottom. The back of the card, I mean, doesn't look, there's no stains, there's no marks. I can't really see the surface too well, but I don't see anything that's glaring that it would get a 3. So I'm curious. Please leave a comment. Maybe something I could look for, whatever. Maybe you can't see it on camera, but it doesn't look tilted to me at all. It looks pretty good. But even if it was with those minor flaws, you know, I would, you know, a 5. I could see a 5 or maybe a 6, but I was very surprised by that grade. It's the only one that was really completely out of whack with what I had predicted. Okay, so this is a card that I bought recently at my LCS, and I thought it was a pretty good. It was in pretty good shape, and I figured I'd get it graded because it looked really good centering wise. It only cost me $10, so I was pretty happy with trying to get it graded. And I predicted that it would be a 7, and it came back a 7. So it's got a little issue there that probably hurt it mostly. Little off-centered in the back, but no stains, no marks, nothing like that. So I was pretty happy with that. And that'll go in the collection. My 75 collection. All right, here's a big card. I've had this for a while. And this is a 1975 Robin Yount rookie card that I was kind of hoping maybe I had my fingers crossed on an 8. It's well centered, top to bottom, left to right. Corners look really, really good. This one's showing a little bit of white. I thought that would be the biggest problem. The back looks fine to me. Nothing really there, no stains, nothing like that. I don't see any any ink splotches or anything like that on this card. So, you know, it's just the luck of the draw, I guess. You know, it's a 7 or an 8, maybe it's a 7.5. I don't know, but all in all, I mean, I can't complain about a card from 35 years ago or so. All right, now we're moving further back. Now we got a 1974 Dave Winfield, and I was thinking this would be a 7, and it came back an 8. This is his rookie card, and I was obviously very happy, very pleased with the grade. Slightly above what I had figured. Corners are pretty good. Centering's not perfect, but the backs on all these cards are, shouldn't be too much of an issue. Little tilting on the cut there, but so I was very happy with this. As an 8, latest comps is about $120 for a Dave Winfield 8, PSA 8. All right, now we're going further back. 1972 Pete Rose is another one that's been in the collection for a while. And I was very happy with a 7, and I predicted that it would be a 7. It's got pretty good centering left to right. Top to bottom looks good. Corners are showing a little wear. But I thought because the centering was really good that it would get the 7. The back is very good. For, what is this? This is almost a 50-year-old card, 48-year-old card, right? So, so I was very happy with that. A PSA 7 for Pete Rose goes for about $60. Did a quick little look up. All right, now we're gonna go back, way back now. One of my oldest cards in my collection, a 64 Topps Duke Snider. Graded a 7, which I was ecstatic about because I had this down as a possible 5. So as you can see, the centering is pretty good, top to bottom, left to right. Corners are obviously the big issue with this card, but it's got good color, good clarity. The back, nothing overly wrong with it. So I was very surprised with the 7, pleasantly surprised. And as a PSA 7, it's going for roughly about $30 right now on eBay. Not that I'm selling any of these cards. These are my PC. They're not going anywhere. All right, so now we're going to get to the 2 modern cards. We have a hockey issue. The 2019 Upper Deck Jack Hughes from this past year. Got a Gem Mint 10. I liked the card, thought it had a chance for a 10, but you can't ever assume you're going to get a 10. So I put this down as a 9, so I was happy to get the 10. All right, as a 10, it's going for about $130 right now. Raw, it's a $35 card, which is actually a little less than what I paid for it originally. And then the big card is the 2018 Ronald Cunha bet down. Got a mint 9, which is what I thought it was. It has one little corner issue here that you'd have to look at under magnifying glass to really see it. Little rounding there. This corner is not perfect. These 2 corners are very, pretty much perfect. So that was. I was pretty sure this was going to go for a Gem Mint 10, so here's the back. Now, the interesting thing about this card is that as a PSA 9, it's currently selling for about $550. But raw, I saw it's a wide range. If I had decided not to grade it and leave it raw, I can go for anywhere from $400 to $600. And the one I saw that sold for $600, you could see was not going to Gem Mint. So I was a little surprised by that. That somebody would, kind of look at a card. I mean, if you're going to buy this card raw, the chances of somebody selling it that hasn't already looked the card over and said they're not going to get a 10 on this, is very slim in my opinion. So, I mean, if you see this card raw and you're buying it for more than than a 9. It just seems silly, but you know, there's always a chance that you can get that 10 from PSA, and you know, jumps up to a $2,500 card. So that's the that was a submittal. It was 15 cards, and I hit 4 cards right on. Only 3 cards graded lower than I thought they were going to be. So I feel like I didn't waste my money too much by expecting higher grades than I actually got. The one card that really threw me for a loop was the Thurman Munson. I missed something on that card. I don't know what. I'd appreciate it if anybody sees something with that, or something I should be keeping an eye out for you know, vintage cards. I'd appreciate it. And again, check out Alico 3 if you want to learn more about grading. He's a great resource. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video.